Perfect. So welcome everyone. Like I said earlier, thank you so much for being here and for sharing this time with us. Today we're gonna have Sandra. She's gonna introduce us to the beautiful country of Croatia. It's located in the Mediterranean and in Europe, and you're gonna learn so much about it. She was there this past summer, like recently, and I saw her pictures and I'm like, you need to present about Croatia because it just looks so beautiful. And I'm like, so you're in for a treat. That's all I'm going to tell you for now. But she's joining us now. So thank you again. Just a couple of things. There is a Q&A that will follow this presentation. So you're more than welcome to ask the questions live at the end, or you can ask them in the chat. Make sure you engage with the other presenters, share your experiences as she's sharing, and ask questions. We want questions because we want to be able to answer any questions that you have about what it is like to travel to Croatia. And replays will be available after this in our YouTube channel. So make sure you check it out. We have all of our virtual travel parties there, which is over 60 of them already. My goal is to make sure I cover every single country in the world with a different Latino to show that we go everywhere. We don't leave any place in this world untouched. So I'm really looking forward for this. And you, like I say, are in for a treat.
Hi. So I'm trying to figure this out because I'm getting feedback here and here.
Oh, lower the volume completely in the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how we figure out the audio. So she's about to
like,
come in.
Oh my goodness.
I cannot wait for you to see. Oh, I'm inviting you, but you have to accept it. And let's continue dreaming, discovering places, and inspiring all of our fellow Latinos, you know?
Hi.
Yes.
How are you, Vanessa? Thank you. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate everyone's patience. I've been working from home all day, no issues, no problem, you know, freshened up. I come back and I'm like, where's my internet? Where's my internet? Where's my internet? And you know, then you go into panic mode because I'm like, I don't have Vanessa's number, and you forget everything. You forget everything that you're supposed to do. But I appreciate your time, your patience. I'm excited just, you know, to share a little bit about my experience, you know, in Croatia, and you know, answer any questions or concerns that each and every one of you may have. But
absolutely,
we're going to do this. To this, I'm gonna need a glass of wine. I should have brought a glass of wine. That's probably what I needed. Like, ay, Dios mío, my Lord, Dios mío. Yes. So let's see here. I have this thing up. Do I have access to present, right? I can share my screen. Yes, you do. Awesome.
Ooh, so for the people who are in Instagram, I'm going to literally share the screen so you can see.
There we go. Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Sandra Yvonne. I am the founder of Tour Amor. And, you know, for those of you who are new to the platform, welcome. I am a fashionista and a lover of all things girly. And of course, you know, definitely wanderlust and travel. My passion, though, is based on the African diaspora. But, you know, every opportunity that I have to travel anywhere, I'm definitely, you know, right there. If I can get a flight deal, then I'm definitely going. I was talking to a friend of mine last night and he's like, but you've been everywhere. And I'm like, I have not. I have not. There's people that have been to 100+ countries. You know, I'm like, I've been to like 40. And he's like, you stop bragging. Stop bragging. Stop bragging. But so today I want to share with you a little bit about, you know, my experience. This here that you see on screen is in Dubrovnik, and this is known as the King's Landing castle. If you are a lover of Game of Thrones, this is one of the places where Game of Thrones was actually filmed. Well, the crazy thing is what you may not know. Let me go ahead and move forward. What you may not know is the fact that even though you see the screen, you know, you see the castle there, there was actually a separate set that was built, established for Game of Thrones,
Oh,
because
wow.
eventually they had to blow it up, right? If you've seen Game of Thrones, they had to blow up the actual set. So that means that they couldn't blow up, a withstanding castle that's been, sitting there for hundreds of years. So you see the picture, that's what you see when Game of Thrones begins, but the actual filming, not everything took place there, but it was pretty interesting. So I will start off with one of my favorite, cities of all time is Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik has so much to offer. I kept adding to the list, and I'm like, girl, slow down, because we have other, places to discuss. But one thing I love about Dubrovnik is the versatility in the city. One of the few things that I did was our vacation was 7 days. Well, I take that back, it was 2 weeks long, but we stayed 7 days in Dubrovnik, and we kind of hopped around into different, cities. So I would definitely say you can't go to Dubrovnik without actually walking, the Dubrovnik walls, an old city. Believe it or not, people actually reside there. There's people that still live there. If you've been to Portugal, and walk around Porto, it kind of it's reminiscence of Porto and the Amalfi Coast, because here you have this old city, and as you walk and you get lost in the maze, there's people that are actually hanging clothes out there, and that was just so nice to interact with each and every one of them, and everyone was very friendly, very friendly. um, I would also recommend, if you're in Dubrovnik, to actually, there's a cable car that's offered there. So you can actually hop on the cable car, so that way you can have a bird's eye view of the beautiful, coast. And it gets packed. So my suggestion is, go early in the morning, or actually go in the evening, because there's a restaurant. Once you get to the top of the hill, also there's a restaurant, and you can't beat sunsets, right? You just cannot beat sunsets in a beautiful restaurant on the coast with your boo. It was just a very, very nice experience. So we did that. Um, the Fort Lord Givernac, um, is a fortress that exists also in Dubrovnik. And for those of you who are Game of Thrones fans, that is the place where, if you remember the little pain in the ass little boy Jeffrey, the king, um, he was actually slaughtered in this fortress. That's actually where they did the filming. So of course, everybody made a big, to do. We went there by happenstance. We didn't even know where we were until someone mentioned, we saw someone and we're like, what were they doing? They're like, oh, that's a Game of Thrones tour. And I'm like, our tour didn't take us here. So that's how we found out where we were actually standing. And again, if you're into Game of Thrones, definitely take the tour. It's pretty, it's a whole lot of fun. There's so much to offer. We did the Cersei walk of shame as we walked up the stairs. It was pretty dope. Also in Dubrovnik, there is an island, a small island called Lokrum. And Lokrum is pretty dope. You can expect anything. You can expect peacocks rolling around. You can expect nudists skinny dipping.
What
You
a
can
huge difference, right? You go from peacocks
exactly.
to
That's what I'm
nudist.
saying. Expect anything and everything. You can expect nudists. You can expect wild rabbits, rolling around. I mean, it was pretty cool. My ex is trying to, grab one of the rabbits, and I'm like, if you get rabies, I'm done with you. Like, you can't come back home with me. But he's like, oh, it's so cute. It's so cute. So we did that. And I'm a big, wine snob. I love, a good Cabernet. I love to, try out any, wines. So I would highly recommend that you check out, there's different spots where you can actually check out like native Croatian and Montenegrin. If you don't know Montenegrin, that's is for Montenegro. Um, Wine. And also take a day trip to Montenegro. From Dubrovnik, you can actually get to Montenegro within, I would say, 2.5 hours. So we, although we had a rental, we didn't feel like driving. We hired a driver, picked us up, and we made the ride there. When we were in Montenegro, we went to this little small island called Parast. And oh my God, I had the best goat cheese ever. If you like goat
Oh my
cheese, the
God.
best thing. Okay. I'm like a sucker and I'm picky. I'm picky. And it's crazy because anything that said goat, I grew up on a farm. You cannot get me to eat anything that has goat in it. But this was an amazing, amazing, amazing meal that I had in Parast in Montenegro. So those are the things. If you see here in the pictures, oh, this picture down here where it says Golden Creek Amor, again, by happenstance, we had gone to the beach and me wondering, always getting lost, like, come on, let's go here. I see this, abandoned home. Let's just go check it out. And when I get there, I recognized like this looks familiar. It happened to be another scene of Game of Thrones,
Oh, wow.
where the mountain beat the viper. That's where he, got smashed in. That is like an epic, epic scene. The mountain was the big guy with the long hair. So he actually beat the viper in that same area. But of course, with cinematography, it looks a little different. But here I am Googling, immediately trying to figure out. And it mentioned Golden Creek Ward. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm standing right here. I was trying to load the freaking video so that way you can see the whole spectrum. But again, I'm like, it was good enough to get internet today. I'm not even gonna bother with video. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city. It is one of and it is cited as UNESCO's World Heritage Site. And again, you don't have to be a Game of Thrones fan to enjoy and appreciate. If you're into culture and if you're into Diocletian, Roman emperor, history, if you're into architecture, I mean, you can definitely appreciate this place. So, all right. So Zagreb is actually Croatia's capital. And I'll be honest, I wasn't thrilled. I mean, there's beautiful architecture, but it didn't have the same livelihood as Split and Dubrovnik. Um, it just didn't have the same live, for me, for my personal take. But I will say that again, I'm a sucker. I posted some pictures here. We went through this tunnel, and the tunnel basically was built way back in World War I or something like that, and that's where refugees used to escape through. So to me, I'm into history. It was reminiscent to me. I'm like, wow. So the Jews used to pass through these tunnels. It's similar to the same way that we have. There's still tunnels and escape routes for the Underground Railroad, right? But this is how the Jews used to escape in different areas. If you know the story of Croatia, it was, Russian, right? It was Russian owned and it split up, a whole lot of history went into effect. But a tunnel may seem insignificant to you, but to me, it's like, oh my God, I'm standing in a place where so many people, escape through. So that was pretty humbling, definitely humbling. The way Zagreb is split, it has the upper town and then it has the lower town. The upper town is more of the, historic, Gothic type, cathedrals, things like that. That church over here at the top that I have is like amazing, just absolutely amazing. There's the Cathedral of Zagreb, and then there's the St. Mark's Church, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So I would, again, if you're into architecture, just appreciate what it has to offer. I would highly recommend that as well. For me, I recommend also taking the hopper tour everywhere I go, and not just here. I didn't find Dubrovnik to have one, but every city that I travel to, if they have a hopper bus, I tend to do that for the sake of knowing what are the historic centers that I want to attack. And then throughout the rest of my stay there, then I go back and check it out for myself. I'm like, okay, it's nice to ride around and be like, okay, I want to go here, I want to go here, okay, maybe yeah, that looks nice. Maybe we should come back here. So I definitely recommend the, the hopper tour, in Zagreb, so that way you can appreciate and decide, what it is that, what are the landmarks that you want to go to. Disappointed because with when we took, these pictures, um, for again, it was, some of them were on my personal camera, some of them were in my ex's camera, and lo and behold, all of my pictures obviously were in his camera because he took them of me. And I'm like, hey, so I know we're not together anymore. Can I get my pictures? He's like, oh,
Oh
I don't even
my,
know where they are. So I was so disappointed, because
oh my
obviously I have
God.
pictures that I took, but I'm like, where are the pictures like that you took of me? He's like, I sent you everything I had. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh
So for that, I
no.
need a do-over. So if you are planning a Croatian getaway, let me know, because I need a do-over just to have my Instagrammable,
Look,
uh,
I learned my lesson the hard way.
don't let nobody take your pictures in their phone or
No,
their camera.
I used to take pictures with the person I was dating. And then whenever we broke up, I'm like, I can't post the pictures anymore because they're all with that person.
Yeah, I have a lot of that too.
Yeah.
I have a lot of that too. I was gonna play it, but I'm like, no, I'm not gonna put that. I'm not gonna put that on. But again, so in my head, I was like, I gotta do a do-over because I didn't get a chance to do a photo shoot. I didn't do any of that. And if you know me, I'm gonna do a photo shoot everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So that was my take on it. But the last city that I want to, share with
Before
you
you go to
is,
Split,
yes,
what
go
made
ahead.
you choose Zagreb? Because you
Because
say,
it's the capital. It's
oh,
the
okay.
capital. Yeah, it's the capital, definitely. So, you think of, for example, you go to Portugal, you got to go to Lisbon because it's the
Mhm,
capital,
mhm.
right? You go to, Ghana, you got to go to Accra. You always want to check out the capital. And again, it's a beautiful place. I'm not saying it isn't. But I had the most fun in Dubrovnik and in Split because
Okay.
it's definitely
It felt like
the
more authentic, probably, right? Instead of
yeah,
city.
yeah. And I think, for us, we wanted to have I guess here's another thing too. Zagreb is not in the coastline. Zagreb is more inland. And I love the water. So one of the highlights, to get to Montenegro, to get to Split, to get to Stone and other, places that we went, it's because you're driving along the coastline. So
Yeah.
it makes your experience a whole lot. If there's no water, I'm like, nah, this ain't good. They ain't no good for me. But I guess maybe that had something to do with it because I've heard, other experiences. And again, and this is one thing I will also say too. Don't ever take somebody's word for it. Don't even take my word for it. Have your own experience. You know what I mean? I'm only sharing with you what I did, but your experience, you may fall completely in love with it. Who cares? You may hate the water. You know what I'm saying? I hear people, one thing I cannot stand is when people post something on social media. I'm going on vacation. Where should I go? Honey, wherever your dime and your time allow, that's where you should go. Don't ask us. Ain't nobody paying for your trip. Like,
That is so true.
right? Why are you asking me? I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you to go to the most expensive place that I want to go to. So it's like, don't ask anybody where you should go. Decide on where you want to go, and then ask for the recommendations. But please stop asking complete strangers, where the heck you should spend your time or your dime. Don't do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But yes, so Zagreb is not in the coastline. It's actually more inland. Um, Split is absolutely amazing. Being in Split
Mm.
felt like I was in Rome. It felt like I was in Hollywood. It was turned up. Okay. We spent a day boating. You see these, boats right here. These are found at the Riva, which is the waterfront, promenade. And right behind that promenade is where the Diocletian Palace, resides. But you have individuals there. A lot of the things that I tend to do, I don't always book excursions ahead of time.
Mhm.
because I don't know who I'm going to run into, right? I don't know what
That is
deal I'm going
true.
to find. I don't know. I just don't know. I know my itinerary of, places I want to hit up, but
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, I just go to the place and figure out what the place has to offer, because I may
Yeah.
not have even been privy to that. So I thought that those, a lot of those boats were charter, were boats, private boats, but a lot of them are chartered. So there was one, two, three, four of us. So we decided, let's charter a boat. And we had the most amazing time because the captain took us, island hopping. So
Oh,
we went to
wow.
Havar. um I was toasty. I didn't People were like, you went to Europe and you turned that toasty. I was toasty. All right. It was in September too. I was toasty. But we went to Havar, we went to Brock, each, and we didn't really do much. All we did was, again, just drink, eat, have a great time. Corcula, they all look the same. We just
Mhm.
got off, took our little pictures and did our thing. This here is one of the, we had lunch in Corcula, so we stopped there, and the
Wow.
it's just so picturesque. It's just completely beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, at the Riva waterfront, there's amazing restaurants. We went there like 3 days, straight,
Mhm.
because we found the best food to be there. Honestly, I will say that I wasn't too impressed with the food in
Mhm.
Croatia. Everything else was amazing. The wine, hands down, amazing.
Mhm.
But I kind of ate pizza every day at this one spot because that goat cheese is amazing, But at Split, I found, a couple of spots where, we actually had, whole fish. It was tasty. And when you think about it, there's something to consider too. I'm Latina, I'm Blatina. So we
Mhm.
like taste. People say, oh, it's spicy. There's a difference between spicy picante or spicy as in full of seasoning. For
Yeah.
me, it doesn't have to be spicy that. For me, it has to be spicy as in full of seasoning.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's Russia. Think about it. A lot of these individuals are Russian descendants, so maybe their food is not.
It's
I don't know.
bland.
Yeah, it was a little bland for my liking. I will admit. Um, but the two restaurants that we found, and for the life of me, I apologize. I kept looking at through my pictures, like, where is it? Where is it? But I couldn't find the name.
Mhm.
Um, I found the pictures, but I couldn't find the name of it.
Mhm.
And again, if island hopping for one day was not enough, go hit the beach. One thing I will say, the beaches in Croatia, no matter where you go, you're not going to find sandy beaches. They're all rocky,
Oh, okay.
completely clear. So it's kind of uncomfortable. So have your water shoes, together, be ready, for that. It was different for me because I've never experienced that. But there's no sand. There really isn't any sand. The water
Mhm.
is extremely clear. Like, I couldn't load up, a whole bunch of pictures here, but there's a picture where, I'm standing in the beach in the water, and you could see my feet completely through,
Wow.
completely, and the rocks are there. So the
That.
rocks were, a little uncomfortable, but it's just a different experience, again. That was, I'm like, when will I ever do this again? But again, it reminded me, um, I haven't been personally, but I've seen photos of the Amalfi Coast, and similar. The
Yeah.
beaches look the same way. So
Mm.
yeah, no, note to self: there is no sand, really, when you go to Croatia. So that was my experience. There's many other different little cities that we stopped in. I didn't load it to here, but I will say, go to Stone. Stone
Mhm.
also is well, Ston. Stone is also known for wine.
Mhm.
They have actually, on our way to Split, you have to go through Stone. So
Okay.
that's what we did. We stopped there first. I read up on it, you know, picked up wine. And then as we're leaving, headed into Split, we found a small winery. So I'm like, pump the brakes. He's like, we got a case already. And I'm like, it's not enough. We'll probably drink that. We're here for 2 weeks. We're going to drink that. So, let's get some more wine. So we did that. So I definitely say, stop by Stone. You know, while you're crossing, while you're driving, this is the beautiful thing about, renting a car and just experiencing. If you're comfortable, I will say, this is a very modern city. So you don't have to be afraid of, driving. The highways are extremely clean. That's another thing that I noticed about Croatia. Everywhere is like pristine, super clean. Very, very clean. The highways are well lit, so no issues there. Very clean. So it made our drive, rather easier. One thing that I found peculiar too is that as you're driving from Dubrovnik, through Zagreb and, Split and all of that, you actually have to cross a different country, which is Bosnia. So if you have a chance, we didn't have all the time because we also traveled to Italy, during that same trip for a few days. But I'm like, man, this is something I would have liked to, check. And I'm like, I want another passport stamp. They didn't stamp our passports, but we actually had to cross there. So I thought that was pretty, pretty amazing. There's just so much culture and history and there you know, here's the humbling experience too, that I'm mixed. My dad's Black Puerto Rican, my mom is Mexican. So for my birthday, mind you, we went in September. My birthday's in May. For my birthday, my ex had, given me um, a 23andMe ancestry, kit.
Yeah.
I did the African American, ancestry, and it came back like quick. So he teased me that the 23andMe took forever. I mean, think about it. May, June, July, August, September, 4 months. Wow. He's like, you done broke these people DNA testing machine. They're trying to figure out who the hell you are, where you come from, because you have like United Nations, in your family. And then we really do, we have Native Indians, we have obviously, African and European. But the cool thing is that when as I'm we're out to dinner, I was like, oh my God, I got my results. So I'm reading the results, 54%, South Saharan, West African, no surprise there.
Yeah.
And it showed European. The European part was like 30 something percent, but it showed that my ancestry from the European side came from the Balkan region.
Oh, wow.
But when you do when you go back, I'm like, Balkan region, Croatia is part of the Balkan region as well. God. So as well as Spain. So, it just kind of put things together like, wow, my DNA has crossed through this place as well. It was just kind of weird, to learn the makings of you, where your DNA, has traced. Whether we have family there or not, who knows? But it just showed that, we're all very colorful people, right? Yeah. We have a little bit of everything.
Next thing you know, you're gonna go visit your third cousins or something over there.
So the funny thing about that is that every time, if you do the ancestry, like I found a couple of cousins, in addition, that you'll get those email notifications. And this guy was like looking for his daddy. He's like, oh, I'm this. And then I'm like, who are you? And I'm asking my mom, who is that? And she's like, oh my God. So, todos los escándalos, wondering, somebody had a love child. Whose love child is this? I was like, Mom, do you know this person? She's like, no. Then I can't ask my dad on his side because he's dead. So, and my grandma's dead. So I don't know. We really don't know. And I'm afraid to be like, yeah, sure. Hit me up. So it's but it's a great experience to know where the makings of you actually originate from. So that's what I have to share on Croatia. I feel like I've talked a lot. I would,
Oh no,
love
we got questions, so please
yeah,
put them in
exactly.
the chat if you have
I was like,
questions.
yeah, I would love to.
Um,
I'm gonna stop this because I want to
mhm.
make sure that I'm like
And
focused.
I'm gonna put it back to me here.
Okay.
So when you left from New York area or what? Where?
I actually flew. So check this out. This was an amazing like holiday. I was gone for 3 weeks.
Okay.
We left from Orlando.
Okay.
We flew to New York. From New York, we spent time in Turkey
Okay.
because we flew Turkish Airlines. If
Nice.
anybody know Turkish Airlines, they never on time.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to be there officially for 2 days. We ended up being there, for 3.5 days. So
Got it.
we're in Istanbul.
Mhm.
From Istanbul, we took a flight into Dubrovnik.
Okay.
Okay. So
Mhm.
from Istanbul, we took a flight into Dubrovnik. Then from Dubrovnik, we went away to Venice, Italy. And that
Okay.
was like, again, I just shared with you. A lot of times I just do things like spur of the moment,
Mhm.
like, oh my God, let's do this. Very spontaneous like that.
Yeah.
So when I looked again at the map, I'm like, we're so close to Venice, Italy. It's only a 1 hour flight. So my ex was looking for flights and we found, I think it's Ryanair or something like that.
Yes.
85 euros. So that turned out to be like $100 round trip ticket to Venice.
Nice.
Yes. So we did not look, we teased about it. Like we paid more for the freaking gondola ride than we did, within
For the
Venice.
flight.
Yeah, than we did for the flight. He's like, man, somebody could have, passed me a gondola. We probably could have rode here. But it was a tremendous, life experience. I've never been gone for 3 weeks at a time.
So when you got to Dubrovnik, you rented a car there and you return it there? So you did a loop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we rented a car there. We stayed at an Airbnb right outside of, the old town, if you would,
Mhm.
because we wanted to have a huge house. It was a beautiful Airbnb home with a
Mhm.
pool. We could overlook, the mountains
Wow.
and whatnot. It was just absolutely amazing. Um, so we did that. Now to get into I will say this: a car is necessary to get around, Croatia, but a
Mhm.
car is not necessary to get around Dubrovnik. You're not going to find parking. It's going to be
Mhm.
very difficult, to find parking. So we would just leave the car, at the house. We walk all the way down to the hill,
Oh.
and catch the bus. We catch the local bus, for a couple of euro, and it would, shuttle us straight to the old town.
Mhm.
And the bus runs until like midnight. So
Okay.
we were never without.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was like easy accessibility to the buses and all
Absolutely.
that. Okay.
Absolutely. No problem. We just knew what time. And people were also very friendly, which again, the culture, you would think a lot of these people are Yugoslavian, Russian. They're not
Mhm.
known for being friendly, but they were. We were at the bus stop one time and she knew that we're Americans. And she says to us, no Trump, no Trump. And we're like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
We got you. You got TV. Yeah. But it made me laugh because I'm thinking, oh my goodness. Um, Globally, people see what's going on in the United States and they form their own opinion. We didn't even speak the language, right? But she made a statement like, no Trump, no Trump.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome.
Wow. Yes. So when you were in Dubrovnik, you said that
Mhm.
you went to the town down in the old town, right?
Mhm.
Do
Mhm.
they have like bicycles for you to ride? Like, is it an enclosed area that is
So
walkable?
so it's think about man, let me see. I'm gonna see if I can pull up. I have a
Because
few
I'm thinking
pictures.
like en La Muralla, like in Colombia, in Cartagena. Is it like that?
Yeah, it's something like that, but not really. Okay. What I'm saying is it's not like La Ciudad Amurallada. What you're going to find is, locals that actually live there. You
Okay.
won't be able to use a bike because everything is like going uphill, walking downstairs. You know, the majority of those stairs are made of stone. All right. So yeah, they no biking
So
in
wear
there.
comfortable shoes.
Yes, wear comfortable shoes. The same thing with Zagreb. Wear comfortable shoes, because when we did that hopper off and on, off and on, off and on, just to familiarize ourselves, my feet were killing me. And I had tennis shoes. I don't know about you, but Chuck Taylors are not vacation shoes. I don't care how cute they look. They're not, all right? Neither are Vans. I don't care how
I
cute they look.
know.
They're not comfortable. I will definitely stick to Tevas.
Yes.
So no, you just walk around. You just walk around. There's also boat tours, that you can go. Um, you know, you can go to the Couture Island, um, and just enjoy really. There's shops, you can get ice cream, candy, eat. Um, Let me see if I can, gosh, I don't know if you can see. Let me
Did you feel, how long were you there in the whole country? And did you feel that that was enough time for you to like get a good taste of what the country has to offer?
I would say I was in Dubrovnik for 2 weeks. So yeah, yeah. I,
Okay.
I I feel like I did a lot. And here's the thing, a lot of people refuse to revisit a country because they want a new stamp. I'm not into collecting stamps. I'm into collecting experiences and memories. So if I have to revisit the same country just to get a different experience, just to see something new, I'm going to go. So even though we were there for 2 weeks, I didn't get to see everything. I really didn't get to see everything that I wanted, but I'm a hog. I just recently got back from Portugal. I was there for 2 weeks and I'm like, man, I didn't do enough. People are like, what? 2 weeks? you know, but here's the thing too that you have to plan. I'm a hopper. I like to hop around. I just told you. We went to Turkey. We went to, all over freaking Dubrovnik, and we're like, Croatia. And then I'm like, oh, we're close to Montenegro. Let's go to Montenegro too. That's my
Your MO.
yeah, like let's go places. I never stick to like just go here.
Yeah.
So if you want to take advantage of Croatia, stay put, don't go nowhere. Don't go anywhere, so that way you have enough time to do more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I went hopping around, because in my mind I'm like, I'm so close. Why not? Um, so it depends. Do you want to have more of Dubrovnik or Split, or do you just want to hop around to as many places as you want to, get to? So in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to do more. But then when my time comes to an end, I'm like, oh man, I didn't spend enough time in this one spot. But there's no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing. I'm just never satisfied. That's it.
Yeah.
I just want to see it all. I want to
Yes.
see it all. It was funny because you posted a meme the other day and it said, me after arriving and having 2 drinks at a restaurant, like, I'm moving here. I'm moving here. Because
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, this place is great. I'm moving here. This is great. Everybody's wonderful. Even though they use the euro, everything's so affordable. Like, I'm moving right here. I'm
Mhm.
let's go. Let's go. And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, girl, pump the brakes. That's the wine talking. Pump the brakes.
Did you
So
did you bring wine in your luggage?
I did.
Or okay, so how did you prepare it to bring it in your luggage?
Okay, so the secret is what we did is I had a carry-on suitcase that I didn't really put anything in. I kind of left it empty, if you would, so that way I could transfer things from my personal big luggage, into the carry-on, so that way I could have room in the big one.
Yeah.
Okay. And I just wrapped it up in towels. That's it. Towels, clothes, your clothing items. What I did is I did take like the small bubble wrap,
Mhm.
You know, I didn't roll it up because that takes too much space. So I just laid like 2 sheets flat, you know, at the bottom. And they do a good job anyway at, you know, taking a paper bag and stuff like that. And, you know,
Mhm.
but I figured, you know what? It's in a bag. If it makes it, great. If it doesn't,
Yeah.
I drank
Do
plenty.
you have the hard case kind of luggage or
Yes.
okay?
Yes, I have a hard case. I have
Mhm.
a hard case. Another thing, again, personal preference, that's on you. I love originally I love this, you know, good old fashioned luggage because that sucker expands, right? That
Yeah.
thing would be like you can stuff as much as you want until until I went to Colombia and a freaking monsoon occurred
Oh my
and
God.
all my crap was ruined, okay? Because I had this shirt, tie-dye shirt, out of all things, tie-dye shirt, my drawers, my clothes, everything. So all my clothes was tie-dye for all I know.
Oh
Everything,
my
everything on that
God.
trip was freaking tie-dye. You know, I mean, I wore it. I wore it. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm gonna stick to hard case. I'm gonna stick to hard case, you know, suitcases moving forward.
Yeah.
And trust me, that sucker, I'm like, not until it cracks completely, I'm not getting rid of it. I'm not getting rid
Yeah.
of it.
Wow, that
Yeah.
sucks though. But you learned your
Yeah.
lesson and now
I
like
learned my
it will never happen
lesson.
again,
And
right?
if you ever carry a tie dye, put that sucker in a Ziploc bag just in case. All right. Put that baby in the Ziploc bag. Please
Yeah.
do that. So yeah, it was great. It was great though.
Mm-hmm.
So that those were my experiences, you know, in Croatia. Um, you know, it's just a beautiful, beautiful country.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, depending on your likes, I'm not a big party person.
Mm-hmm.
um you know, me having drinks, you know, that to me is fun enough. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
do the clubbing things or anything like that. um we didn't split because I'm telling you, it started that it was the captain of the charter boat. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're gonna go here, we're gonna go here. We're like, okay, we were just there. Like, you're buying drinks, no problem. So we were
Yeah.
with them all freaking day. We're like, we're in swimsuits, no
Wow.
problem. No, man, come on, come on.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had the best time. But you know, if you can appreciate you know, history, you
Mm-hmm.
know, culture, um, you know, a lot of people get bored, you know, doing, you know, tours like that. I love it. I'm a nerd. I'm a big time nerd. So it was a whole lot of fun. Whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
It has a lot to offer.
But that is the beauty of traveling to a country, experiencing it for what it is. You know,
Yeah.
not every
Yeah.
country is gonna be the same,
Right.
but you just get to experience it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you had to pick the three things, the must three things that people should pack if they're going to Croatia, what would you say they are?
Swimsuits, comfortable shoes,
Mhm.
and definitely swim shoes.
Yeah.
Swim shoes. Because again, the beach is not sand, it's rock. So as much as you want to enjoy and, you know, get in the water, I'm like, ah. So then the funny thing is I had my Havana flip-flops. Then the flip-flop went floating and I'm like, trying to grab the freaking flip-flop. I couldn't get to my flip-flop. But take comfortable shoes. Um, you know, again, if you're into wine, have enough room, you know, if you don't want to I hate
Mhm.
carrying additional stuff, you know, on the flight with me. So
Yeah.
I try to check in any items that I'm going to bring with me,
Hmm.
you know, make things easier.
Oh, that's really good. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who want to go to Croatia, they want to go because of Yacht Week. Do you
Yes.
have anything that you can share about that? I know you didn't do necessarily Yacht Week,
Yeah.
but if you do
So
not have information.
I would say, you know, there's different opportunities, you know, for you to do the yacht week. What I did is I initially, you know, when I was looking at it, um, when I looked at the pricing, I was like, oh, Jesus. I mean, it might be worth it, right? You know, for someone, you know, for me, it was just a little extensive. We ended up doing the charter boat in Split. just for ourselves. Of course, it's not a major yacht or anything like that, but the charter boat for an entire day cost us $500.
Oh,
You
that's a good
know,
price.
which I think it's an
And
amazing price
split it
for
into
4 of
4
us.
people.
Exactly,
Uh-huh.
exactly. Well, I would say it was a little more. It turned out because it was 500 euros, 500 euros.
Okay.
But still, we were with the individual literally from like freaking 10 a.m. in the morning all the way till like 2 o'clock the next day.
Wow.
Because after we did the party hopping, we hung out with them. You know, it was the father and son, and they fed us. I mean, we did so much, so it was worth it for me. I think I would definitely like to, take advantage of, the experience someday for Yacht Week. Um, but I think I would like to do that they have one in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
They have one in Greece. Um, and definitely I think in Tahiti or something like that.
Yeah.
You
I
know, so.
heard like Thailand they have it.
Oh,
And I
really?
can't remember if they have it somewhere
I
in
haven't been to Thailand
Zanzibar,
yet.
but they have it somewhere in
Oh,
Africa too. I just can't
okay.
remember where, but definitely Thailand. They have Thailand, and then the Caribbean islands. What is it called? There's so many islands, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
um,
would be a nice
yeah, there
experience.
are a couple. But Greece will be a good one. I
I
love
haven't been to
Greece.
Greece yet. I haven't been to Greece yet. So my thing is, oh, I would love to do that in Greece and have that experience,
Mhm.
something a little bit different. Um, it's crazy because I haven't been to Greece, but I feel like I've been because I planned my best friend's engagement. He proposed to his girl
Oh,
in February of 2019.
yeah.
So I was like, I've been to Greece. I planned
Mhm.
it.
Pretty much.
So exactly. I was like, I did everything. So definitely
Yes.
that's on my bucket list. I
So
said, I
now
haven't been
take
everywhere.
advantage and share what do you do and tell people where they can find you, you know?
So again, I started, two or more, and the mission is still the same, with one thing in mind, and that is to explore the African diaspora, throughout the Americas and globally, honestly, because learning where I come from, people look at me and they're like, "Where are you from? Are you Hispanic? Are you Black?" I'm like, "Yeah, kind of, all of the above." Check, check, check.
Yeah.
So, I love to explore the culture, from our ancestors everywhere. I was doing group trips, pre-pandemic, and I quickly learned that I don't like the responsibility of adults. I don't like that responsibility. So now what I do, yeah. So now I still, take trips. I still explore the African diaspora, but I'm building my blog and also a vlog where I can share those experiences back to people and monetize that. So my Instagram is at two or more, and I am about to relaunch my blog, pretty soon. So if you follow me and you're active, then I would love for you to join our join my um, email list, so that way I can share. I like to share tips, ideas. I like to, just last week I had someone from Lisbon. He does Naki. He does the African Lisbon tours. And
Mhm.
you go to Lisbon, you go to Portugal, and nobody talks about slavery, when hello, they kind of started this stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of hush hush. So he migrated into Portugal, and he's self-taught, and now he has this full like 4-hour meat and potatoes tour of the African diaspora in
Oh,
Portugal.
wow.
So I ate that up. I ate it up. So I'll be writing about that. He joined me, for a live. So we had a great discussion about that. And that's what I love to do, just find opportunities, to advance and explore the African diaspora.
Nice. Love it. So I'm definitely going
Thank
to be
you.
looking out for that blog.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate
Um,
you.
I was going to say, you mentioned that Croatia, in order to go
Mhm.
from Dubrovnik, is that how you pronounce it? To
Dubrovnik.
Split, you have to cross through Bosnia.
Yes. Yes.
So we actually had one of our members who did a virtual travel party about Bosnia. So if any of you are interested in watching that episode, make sure you go to our YouTube channel and check it out. It was one of the most fascinating virtual travel parties that we have ever done. I know at the beginning the internet is like a little bit iffy, but keep watching because you're gonna be like glue watching that episode.
So I'm not the only one that had internet issues.
Yeah, it
okay.
happens
All right. I was like, am I the devil's favorite
people
or what?
are in different parts of the world. He like lives in Costa Rica.
Okay.
But when there was war, his aunt went there because she was in the military of the US. And she took a picture in one specific location with her uniform. 20 years later, the war and everything ended. They rebuilt the country. 20 years later, he went and he took a picture exactly in the same place where she took it when it was war. And he was able like to show us like back then during the war and post-war 20 years later.
Whoa.
The country. So it was like a very interesting. Yep.
That's very
so definitely
sobering.
check that episode. Now people have 2 episodes to check, yours and his, so they could do the whole, journey from Croatia, Bosnia, Croatia. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Oh my God, funny story. When we stopped, my head was in the clouds. I'm telling you, I could be like very structured, but when I get someplace, I'm like a kid. I'm like a 3-year-old. I forget crap I'm supposed to do. I always bring my passport no matter what, right? I never leave it at the hotel. So I didn't have my passport. And my ex is like, you don't have your passport? What the heck? And I'm like, but it's me. Look, it's me. Like, I have my ID. I have my ID and I do have my passport saved, on my phone. So I'm showing them and the guy went back and forth and David was like, oh my God, now we're freaking stuck in Bosnia, freaking, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like I wasn't thinking, like I forgot my passport. He's like, oh, and you normally blame stuff like this on me and you're the one all over the place, not thinking. But it's because I get so excited, like, let's go. Come on. Are you driving? Let's go. So yeah, carry your passport always, especially if you're, traveling through, because the same thing, they do a passport check. You don't get a stamp, but they do a passport check anytime that you cross a different country. Obviously.
Yeah, I had something similar, but I was going from Dubai and I was crossing to another area of the UAE, but you had to cross Oman in order to get there.
Oh yeah.
There's like a little tiny bit where you have to cross Oman to go to the other side. I had to literally go back.
Did you know that you had to cross through there? Did you know?
I didn't. I was with my boyfriend at a time who lived there. And he didn't think either, So
I wasn't thinking. I was just like, let's go.
And even at the hotel, they asked me for my passport when we got there. So I still would have needed my passport even if they would let me go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, children. Crazy. Carry your passports.
Yes, always. Copies don't work overseas.
Yeah, no.
Only if you lose it, you could go to embassy and do that.
Yeah, carry your passport.
So when you went there in September, how was the weather? It was like pretty warm.
It was hot. I was sweating like a runaway slave in James Brown in concert. It was hot. Okay. And the thing, again, like I shared with you, when you're walking the old city in Dubrovnik, it's the streets are all stone. They're stone. They're like stone ages, So you're walking uphill, downhill, uphill, downhill. If you want to make it all the way to the castle and overlook everywhere, like where I was sitting pretty, trust me, I was huffing and puffing, every couple of 20 something steps because they're also so steep. So I'm like, and it was hot. And again, because I'm cute, I didn't have water. I didn't have anything. I was just like prancing, like, I got this. No, boo, you don't. Then I got blisters from my Converse. I'm like, oh my God. So again, I was a mess. So I've learned a lot.
And you went recently, like a month ago or so. How were the requirements?
No, I was actually in Croatia in 2018.
Oh, I thought you were like recently. Oh my
Yes,
God.
no. I was in Croatia in 2018. Last month, I was in Lisbon for 2 weeks.
Lisbon.
Well,
Okay, okay,
Portugal,
okay.
Portugal for two
Portugal.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got them confused.
It's okay. You're all right. You're all right. But
All right.
even then, it was from what I was told, it was unusually warm. The
Mhm.
same thing in Venice. I was miserable, just miserable because it was so hot. And I have this big old afro. I'm like, I just want a high ponytail and keep it moving. So that's why in some of the pictures you see me with my head wrap. Like I always carry
Mhm.
head wraps with me,
Just in
regardless,
case.
just in case, because I do not want to bother with this hair. Like I don't want to be mistaken for a nest either.
Mhm.
So let me just wrap it up.
Yeah.
But it was very hot, very hot.
Hmm.
But usually around that time it's supposed to be in the 70s. But
Hmm.
with climate changes, you don't know what to expect anywhere.
Exactly. And just so everybody could see what's the head wrap that she's talking about, I'm gonna share here. So this is the head wrap, by the way. It looks freaking
There you go.
beautiful.
Thank you. You see, I was cute, girl, but I was sweating. I could feel the drip down my back, and I'm like, take the picture, take the picture. I'm dripping.
Yes, yes, yes.
The
So
things we do for freaking photos.
yeah,
Seriously. The
because it
things
looks
we
freaking
do.
gorgeous. Even the lipstick.
Thank you.
What brand is that lipstick, by the way?
That is Stilla. Stilla, I love the Stilla brand. The lipstick is called Beso Kiss. That sucker will
Mm.
stay on, honey, all day long. Kiss, drink, eat, it will stay put. It will not go anywhere. So that's my go-to when I travel. The only way it'll come off is with micellar water, or like I use the stuff to take off my mascara,
Yeah,
to wipe it off, because that sucker will stay on like a tattoo.
nice.
Yes, it's
Well, I want
Stilla.
to tell you thank you so much for,
Yes, it's been fun. Thank
sharing
you.
your time to share your passion with us and all of your knowledge about visiting Croatia. I'm really grateful because you have supported me since day one.
Girl,
It
you my
was
girl. I was like, we never met, but I'm like, she's my BFF. She just don't know it.
yes, thank you. She supported us with the festival when we launched our first ever Latino Travel Fest. She held it down, being one of the moderators for one of the panels. So that was like freaking amazing. And looking forward to keep supporting each other, and lifting
Yes,
our Latino
that's what we do.
community.
We got iron
to-
sharpens iron. We got to show up for each other. That's how you
Yes,
expand. That's how you build community.
yes,
A lot of people think oh, I got to do this for myself. I got to do this. In order to build a community, you got to know your neighbor, right? And you got to give them a helping hand. So that way you can build a kingdom, and you can, share the wealth, because there's plenty to go around for everybody. What God has for you is for you,
yeah.
so I commend you. You're doing
Amen.
amazing.
Amen.
Amen. And the church said, amen.
Yes. And we have a couple of upcoming virtual travel parties. The next month is going to be November 4th, and I'm going to present about my trip to
Ooh.
Alaska, because most of the time when people travel the United States and they want to hit all the 50 states, they usually leave Hawaii and Alaska for last. And there is a reason for
Oh,
that. So I'm going
okay.
to show you, because Alaska was actually not my last. It was my 37th state. So,
Ooh.
but my goal is to visit all 50. And I had such an incredible time there that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to present about Alaska, which is technically like another world, another country.
Yeah.
And then in December 3rd, we're going to have a presentation about
Ooh.
Pakistan. So if you have ever wanted to travel
Ooh.
to Pakistan, definitely
I'm
join us for
curious.
that presentation. And in January, we have Antigua and Barbuda. So if you wanted to experience an island and you wanted to learn more about that one, I've rarely heard people going there. So I'm excited about listening to Antigua and Barbuda,
Excuse me.
because I'm like, I want to see every country if I can. If the universe allows me to live long enough to visit every country, So definitely mark your calendars. The first Thursday of every month, we have a virtual travel party here with a Latino, showing us from their point of view what their experience is in a country around the world. And my
I
goal is
love
to
it.
cover all 193 UN countries with a different Latino. So support us so we could keep making this dream come true.
Yes.
And please
Yes.
connect with us, follow us, stay informed about all the events that we're hosting. We have our Facebook group, which we share articles, tips, flight deals. We ask questions about our upcoming travels, and you have a whole community that answers your questions. Sin pena, because sometimes, you know, we feel ashamed to ask our family members. Not here. We have a wanderlust bug, like really. And on Instagram, which we use this platform to showcase and spotlight Latinos who are traveling with the hopes to inspire you. And so you feel represented in travel spaces, because we are not being represented anywhere in the travel industry specifically. So I want to make sure that I can put my granito de arena to make sure that we are represented. So definitely join us. I'm hosting a lot of meetups as well. I'm going to Boston at the end of this month.
Come to Orlando.
Next month, I'm going to Miami next month.
I help you host.
That would be nice. I'm going to Miami next month because I'm going to like a conference. I'm like, you know what? Let me host a meetup. Someone is coming from Orlando to Miami. So maybe, I don't know if you
what date?
come.
What date is it? What date is it?
Friday the 13th, I believe, or the 12th, November 12th.
That may work. That may work for me. That may work for me because I'm traveling the next weekend to New Orleans, but that may work.
Yes. And then I'm gonna host another one here in New Jersey to bring like my New York people and New Jersey people together. I'm looking to go in January to Texas. So if you're in Texas, definitely, you know, I want to make sure I visit all the pockets of where our peoples are. You know, I did one in Chicago like 2 months ago, and it was freaking amazing. And please, please, please support us. One way you can contribute is for us to keep doing these events like this is by purchasing our merchandise. We have an array of different products that we have, like the Latino World Travelers logo.
Crew, that is hilarious.
Crew,
I need that in my life.
Yeah. And Soy Mundial, and now we have also like a travel mode on, so you're like turning your mode on. So that's one way you can support us, by purchasing one of our merchandise. Yeah. And un millón de gracias to everyone who joined in the Instagram live, and also who joined in our Zoom. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing you around. I'm going to stop sharing now. Thank you, Sandra, again from the bottom.
Love you, girl. Thank you.
Freaking amazing presentation. I'm like, I want to celebrate my birthday now there next year.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Have a beautiful evening, everyone. Oh, this is amazing. Bye.